This is the Cash Considerations podcast with three guys from Pittsburgh, Philly, and Boston talking sports. God help us all. This is the show. Take it away, Dave.
Welcome to the Cash Considerations podcast. Today is Tuesday, January 4th, 2022. This is our first episode of the new year, and we want to thank all of you again for listening, watching on the YouTube channel at Cash Considerations. The boys are here. We're going to get to it. We're going to start the new year off with an episode that's going to sound a lot like the old episodes from 2021. But the games are new. The seasons are new. Not really. We're in the midst of all of the seasons, but we're going to get to it as we always do. My name is Dave Sharapan. I am the Sportsbook Consigliere at SportsBK Consig on the Twitter. As always, with me, the boys still down in South Carolina, enjoying the sunshine and that good Southern food. Carl Hascall, the coordinating producer, social media manager, email guy, cashconsidshow@gmail.com, and obviously co-host of the show. CH, Happy New Year. And how are you, sir?
How are you? How you doing? Happy New Year, boys. Let's go. I would like to thank all the people of Charleston for, if you watch it on the YouTube, if I seem to be a little bit chunkier in the face, it's probably because I've been eating nonstop for a week. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah, that's Southern food. I mean, want to thank Mr. C, Mr. Covey lives down there or something. He give you some restaurant suggestions. You guys are getting out. Thanks, Mr. C, for doing that, and the rest of you guys for listening to the show as well. Did you have a 50 burger? Because the Patriots put up a 50 burger on the Jets.
That was a beautiful thing.
On the Jags, I mean, yeah, that was a fun day. Yet, despite that, Max Rookie of the Year odds have flipped. I don't quite understand what's going on there, but
it must be Jamar money.
Yeah, a lot of Jamar money, I guess, or just some Jamar money, because they're the only two guys you can bet on now to win that thing.
Right.
So, and obviously, our other triumvirate here, our trifecta of the show, here, the executive producer of the show, and the other co-host of the show, along with myself and CH, Dan Alexander. We call him Newbie. He's at Newbie Talks on the Twitter. Fresh off another Eagles win. He didn't even go down to Washington. He probably should have, because maybe he could have held up that railing that crashed after the game and almost got his man. Nothing can take down the Eagles right now except a faulty railing at RFK Stadium. Unbelievable. And even Hurts got away from that. Dan Alexander, Newbie, what's up, brother? Happy New Year. How are you?
I'm doing excellent, doing terrific. I thought it was a 6-win year at best for the Birds, and they're in the playoffs, man. I couldn't be happier. Like, literally, my shirt is glowing for the YouTubers. Like, I got reflective shit, and it's glowing. I'm pumped up. I'm happy. And, yeah, I saw that the Eagles radio announcer, he didn't even make the trip down to Washington to call the game. They called it on a monitor. They said, well, why didn't you go? He said, that stadium is a dump. I wouldn't be caught dead stepping foot in there. So I'm right there with you. If Merrill Reese, the GOAT, ain't going down there, I'm not going to that dump. All the charm of Spirit Airlines down there. It's a bad spot. Spot. But hey, at least they're getting a new name, Dave. That should help the Washington. They should be called shitbags, Carl. That they should have thrown that in the ring. You know what I mean? Just transfer the moniker over.
Oh, that's funny. You know, that sounds like a Carl's Corner. Rename the Washington football team. Rename any football team or any team. Well, like, why are they called the Utah Jazz? I mean, that makes no sense.
Even allow music.
When they're in New Orleans, you call them the New Orleans Jazz.
There's no lakes in LA. What the hell
exactly.
are the Lakers from?
I'm writing that one down. What should these teams really be named? I'm writing that one down. Stay tuned over the winter. That one's coming.
We're going to rename teams. Well, what we're going to do on the show this week, we're going to, pick the games. We're going to go back and forth with a couple other topics. The show is a weekly show. So when you get to it, you get to it. We appreciate you downloading, subscribing, reviewing, rating the show. starting to happen. Things are going up. We're getting higher in the ratings. I don't know how it's happening exactly, but it is. We're getting people on YouTube as well. So again, we appreciate all of it. This is the show. It's it's January. It's the last week of the NFL regular season. I really can't believe it. But first and foremost, we're in the midst of the NBA. The NBA is forging through. It's pushing through. They're playing games. And I try to come up with a few expressions here and there with these, Italian words and different things. And I asked the computer today, how do you say play a song in Italian? It's riprodurre un brano. Okay. Riprodurre un brano. How do you play a song in Italian? What song would I actually want to play or hear right now, newbie? Do you have any idea?
Is it your new fight song? Well, I guess it's not a new one, right?
No.
What are you looking for?
We're talking about basketball.
I was making notes over here, man.
Yeah,
and I'm all footballed
yeah.
up. You can't be asking me about basketball after the.
There's only one thing we're going to talk about.
You want something? You got something, Dave.
You got something. Please just hit me. Get the people going. Get the people going. 4 in a row. Triple double. Oh yeah.
He's a machine, David. I mean, all I was seeing was the yellow Steelers lid, it's football. And then I remembered, oh, wait, the Sixers just ripped off 4 straight. If there was any song you got to hear at the top, it's the Sixers song, baby.
It is. And
that song.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. We're good. We're getting everything ready. You're still coming off the New Year's break and a New Year's holiday and everything like that.
At least I didn't just strip down and leave the show. You know what I mean?
No. AB did that, and we'll get to that in a second. I had never seen that. The people that watch the show on YouTube may want that to happen at some point, newbie. I'm just saying it might, not yet. We're not ready for that yet. We'll save that for the summer when we really need some.
Yeah, after my New Year's resolutions work through a little bit.
Yeah. We'll get to that. But Kyrie Irving's coming back. It made the rundown. Carl, hashtag anybody but the Nets. Does anybody care that Kyrie's coming back? I mean, even the Nets, do they care?
Well, I think the haters care, right? There's a lot of people that don't like Kyrie. I know I'm, pretty outspoken about my disdain for Kyrie Irving, but
yes,
I think there are more of the haters that are excited that he's coming back than, Nets fans, if there really even are any Nets fans.
We still have yet to actually decide if there are actually any real Nets fans.
Right.
There weren't any Nets fans.
cashconsidshow@gmail.com. Go ahead. If you're a Nets fan, shoot us an email, cashconsidshow@gmail.com. Let us know how the hell you became a Nets fan. And if it was when they were in New Jersey and before they moved to Brooklyn.
Fair. That's actually a Nets fan. If you carry that with you. There was no Nets fans last night when they got blown out by 30 to Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies. Ja and Memphis, if you want something to pay attention to betting wise, start paying attention to the Memphis Grizzlies and what they're doing. They're now the favorite to win their division. They're covering spreads on the regular, and they're not being adjusted as far as the numbers. They're short favorites when they're, should probably be higher. And again, they're on a back-to-back tonight at Cleveland. Cleveland's been a monster. They're 3-point dogs. And again, the back-to-back, maybe that nullifies it, but they're live to win pretty much every game that they're in. That's it. That's all we had to do for the NBA. NHL, we'll mention it. The Penguins have won 8 games in a row. I'm from Pittsburgh. I like hockey. I really love hockey. I had no idea the Penguins won 8 in a row. If somebody wins 8 in a row, newbie, and it like a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, does anybody hear it? Does anybody know outside of even Pittsburgh that the Penguins won 8 games in a row?
I didn't even know that the NHL season was going on, man. I forgot about this song. You think if I'm forgetting about the song that I know what the hell is going on in the NHL, Dave?
No, that's awesome.
Be real here. The only ice I know is what's in my driveway. It's fucking freezing. Good God.
CH, you're down in South Carolina. These people probably don't even know that hockey exists. So I know you haven't paid any attention to any of it. But are you ready yet as the season's transition to, like, we got one bowl game left today, and then we got the championship bowl game left. Are you ready to transition to starting to watch hockey a little bit more? Are you getting ready for the golf? Because the golf is starting in full next week with the Sony Open. This week, this Champions thing with a short field. But where are you at as far as hockey versus anything else going forward?
Yeah, I really start paying attention kind of on the periphery this week. That's how I noticed the Penguins in 1-8 in a row. There must be a Penguin song we can play, right? We got a song for every other goddamn team. No Penguin song?
Yeah, we'll work on that. Actually, there's one or two that we can find out.
Our Steve CH.
Yeah.
But yeah, once football ends, that's when I really start getting into the winter sports. And it's, perfect time. And PGA is pretty smart about how they start. I know there's a holiday in there, but they start right up after football ends. It's pretty seamless. So
yeah, it's pretty good.
Ready to go.
Have you started handicapping golf at all yet? Or are you starting to wait till you get back in the cold weather?
No. I tend to do a lot of week to week. So I need the stats and everything for next week. Gotcha. But yeah, I will start probably next week.
Okay. You should probably DM our friend Junkyard as well. They run a good golf contest where you pick like a team every week, and then you get different ratings, and it's a pretty interesting league. But you got to be into the golf. I did it one year, and I realized I was the dead money in the contest, and I realized that this is not for me anymore. But it's for people that like golf. So there's a lot of opportunities, both betting and with golf contests like that. So just wanted to mention that. All right. Let's see. Newbie. We're going to do 8 in the Box tomorrow with Brad Howe.
Oh, yeah.
At Brad Howe 07, him and I, and you're producing that and chiming in as well. But did you watch any of the bowl games over the weekend? And are you you have a initial lean or feel on the championship game? 2-part question.
Well, I mean, if you didn't watch the Rose Bowl, what the hell are you doing, man? I mean, was that not a freaking football game? I mean, I was like glued to my television screen. I didn't even have a dog in the fight. I was just loving the back and forth, man. The Utes, the OSU Buckeyes just slugging it out. I absolutely thought that was one of the best football games of 2021. I loved it, man. I could not get away from my TV. It lived up to the billing. It lived up to the pageantry. And I think they're still scoring points while we're speaking here on it.
I know.
I mean, nobody was stopping nobody in that one. As far as the national championship goes, dude, I feel like I was surprised to see that, opened up, what was it, 2.5-point favorites for Georgia. If you look at the metrics on them all year long, what they were doing to teams, it makes sense why they were favored. You think about what Alabama did to them the last time that they were underdogs. Maybe it makes you think you should load up on Bama. The only thing that I'm going to do is what I do in every Alabama game. I'm going to go Alabama first half. It's right. Money line. It's like plus 110. I just do it because why not? If you go first half on Alabama long term, you're probably going to be making more money than you're going to be losing. So as far as the game, I mean, I hope it's Georgia. I'm sorry, Bama Mafia, but like, can Georgia really continue just losing and losing and losing to their big brother? I don't know how many points there's going to be scored in that game, but I do know
this is an over show, boys.
And he might be saying, Newbie, I'm over you, after I'm hoping that Georgia wins, but I'm taking the dog in this one, Dave. I got to go with Alabama. They're constantly winning. They're the best team in football over the past decade across all sports, other than maybe the Patriots. So, I got to go Bama getting points for sure.
It's hard to believe, again, that they're dogs, but it's not, because all the rhombuses and the parallelograms and everybody, they were on Georgia the first time and put me in that boat. I thought Georgia was going to actually win the first time, and then quickly into the game, I was reminded, what am I doing? How do you not take the points with Bama and Nick Saban over Kirby Smart and Georgia? CH, I'll ask you the same question I asked Newbie. One, did you watch any of the New Year's Day bowl games, and how great was that Rose Bowl if you did? And two, what is your initial thoughts on Georgia, Alabama in the championship game?
Yeah, I didn't see the game live. I did see good amount of highlights because honestly, there were a lot of
That's
highlights. So
all it was.
to pay attention to, the whole game was a highlight reel, right?
Mhm.
Initial thoughts. The game's in where? Houston, right?
No, in
Oil, is that-
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis. Who the hell plays? How does Indianapolis keep getting these games?
70,000.
Wentz factor. Everybody
Wentz
wants to go
factor.
to Indianapolis.
Here
Wentz
we
is
go.
there, baby.
He wasn't there last week against the Raiders. God,
That's funny. But I think Bama wins this game. I like them money line, and I'm not just saying that because our guy Bama Mafia Picks was kind enough to tell me about a couple of restaurants to eat at here in Charleston, and also try to convince me to move to Florida. But I think Bama's the team. I think they win this game.
Brad says it every week on 8 in the Box. And again, go back and listen to some of those. We had some good back and forth with a lot of the bowl games, and it's kind of just a way to think about how you maybe handicap games. And we're going to talk about it. And that show will drop again. A video will be available probably Thursday, audio tomorrow. He says, show me. And until Georgia,
show me what you got.
There it is. That's it. And when Newbie drops that on that show, like he did here, it's exactly what I think Brad's going to say tomorrow. And it's what you have to say to me. Until Georgia shows me that they can beat Bama, I'm going to just take the points with Bama. Newbie's absolutely right. Bama first half again. I mean, that has to be the play. It's going to take everything from Georgia and a subpar effort from Bama to win that game. They have to figure out a way to pressure Bryce Young. If they do that, then Georgia can win. They ran the ball almost every single play against Cincinnati. Cincinnati couldn't stop the run. They could not stop the run. I believe that Saban knows he ain't going to be able to run the ball against Georgia. He didn't give them no tape. He didn't give them nothing. He said, we're going to run. We don't have to blow them out. They ended up winning and covering. It was a lot maybe closer than the score could have been because it felt like Bama was dominating that game. And then Georgia goes and looks like world beaters against Michigan. I can't wait to watch the game. It's going to be very interesting. I think there'll be numerous in-game betting opportunities there. Pre-game, Bama plus the points. I think it goes under this time. I've fallen for the trap before, betting the SEC games under, and it goes over. But that's my initial lean. We'll have a little bit more on that tomorrow on the other show. All right, last thing before we get to In the Gun, where we're going to, look at the games that matter pretty much, maybe mention the games that don't. Big Ben retired last night. That was a good scene. We're going to visit that in Carl's Corner. Okay. Talk about maybe a little bit what we saw, observations, as well as maybe any other walk-off endings like that, storybook endings that come to mind. The Washington football team is waiting until February 2nd to name their team. And CH gave me the list, the final 8. It's Armada, Presidents, Brigade, Red Hawks, Red Wolves, something I wrote with a D.
Commanders, Defenders,
Yep.
and football team.
Football team.
Names suck.
I was going to say, Newbie, all right, you're the youngin' of the crew here. Nothing hits you there, does it?
Oh, they all suck. But I mean, honestly, that should fit that entire franchise. I mean, they're a dumpster fire from the top down. Just call them the Washington Dickheads and name it after Dan Snyder at this point. You know what I mean? Like who cares what they're named? They're still going to have the horrible FedEx Stadium that's dilapidated, that's fallen all over the place. If you can tell, I'm not sour about that at all. The collapsing wall that almost injured our quarterback. Yeah, that's my quarterback, man. So I think all those names suck. Like when you get the blank slate to rename a team, I would get like the brightest minds. Like this sounds like it was like Dan Snyder and his buddies around a room, just like, yell out some names, let's put it on a board, throw some darts at it. You know what I mean? Like there's no nuance and thought behind those names on that list, Dave.
nothing hit me. I was like, do I have to pick one of these? I mean, I guess.
I mean, I was an XFL guy, so maybe I would go Defenders because I believe that the Defenders were one of the XFL teams. So I wouldn't mind if they brought that back a little bit. But
I think that's the best of the crew.
I hope they change like the color scheme and stuff too. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
like
they're not doing that.
They're keeping the maroon and yellow.
I would think they're never changing that.
Yeah, they have to.
That fits.
They have to.
Yeah.
I don't know. CH. I mean, what do you have anything here of this list? Or I mean, this is comical. They've waited all this time. They've called them the Washington football team. And I was on, with Peralt today, and he was like, just call them the football club, the WFC. And I'm like, I don't want a soccer team named for the football team. Like that doesn't do anything for me. But none of these other team names do either.
Yeah. I think honestly, my favorite would be the Washington Generals. I mean,
Let's go.
It's just a laughing stock, right? This team, the ownership group has just been a mess. Why not call them the Washington Generals? They've lost 1,900 games in a row to the Globetrotters, right? Why not just call them the Washington Generals?
That's good. I didn't think about that.
Honestly, the saddest part is looking at this list of these final 8 teams. The Washington football team is the best out of all of them.
It is.
Thinking the same thing.
They should just keep it. Keep it. It'd be pretty anticlimactic to come out and make an announcement that says we're keeping the same name we've used for the last 20 months, but it's the best name.
Now there's a NLL, the lacrosse league. There's a team named the Albany Firewolves. So I wouldn't mind if they went Red Wolves. So then there could be like a legal battle and Dan Snyder could get egg on his face again. Cause then they'll be soon and be like, dude, we just changed our name to the Firewolves. What the hell are you doing with the Red Wolves bootleg version? So I don't know, whatever gets Snyder in the most hot water. That gets my vote.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. All right. Let's get to In the Gun. Before we get there, I got to mention the Book It Sports app. What's better than winning a bet? Doing it with your friends. On the Book It Sports app, you can talk about the game, track your action, and buy picks straight from the pros. Whether you like the NFL, NBA, we're not going to have no MLB, bro, or NHL, come sweat out your bets with one of the fastest growing communities in sports betting. Start building your following and stand out amongst your friends by downloading Book It Sports today for free on the Apple and Google Play stores. Book It Sports is available for download in all 50 states. Go find Trent at you on Book It with Trent on the Twitter and on Instagram. He's doing these surgical streams. You can send in your plays. You can get on the streams with them and give him a reason why he should use your game, for him to then go on and put it in a parlay and hopefully cash it with the community. He hit one a couple weeks ago. It was a big hit. And then he's not been able to find the right thing, just like most people right now, between games and information and then bad lines and different things. The waters have been kind of treacherous. Unless you've been listening to the show, we've been okay. In the Gun has been okay. Newbie, take us to that place east of the Mississippi, west of the Mississippi, and now below the Mason-Dixon line with Carl.
I don't know why you're asking for newbie, because there ain't no newbie here. It's just Cousin Cooter. Oh, in you for in. The most rootin' to football segment, no matter which side of the Mississippi you may be on, because CH astutely pointed out that we're on every side of the Mississippi. We're getting close to being in the Mississippi, but the are in the gun, rootin' and tootin', as always. Love it. I look forward to that all week long. The people in my household do not look forward to it all week long. But this is In the Gun. This is the 4th straight week that we have gone over 500 or better. Dave was good for 5-3. I was the mediocre as usual at around 4-4. CH was right behind at 3-5. The Raiders, they might have a new nickname according to CH after they F us. I'm going to censor myself. We only get a couple F-bombs an episode on one of our unanimous picks. We've been digging out of that hole, but CH, what's the new name that we got for the Oakland? Las Vegas. Who cares? Raiders.
Oh, can I use one of the F-bombs? I'm calling them. I'm calling the motherfucking Raiders from now on.
Fucking Raiders.
I even have it written down as the MFRs today. So.
And it fits perfectly because if you just say it really quickly, motherfuckers, yeah, you know what I mean? It just works perfectly. We were 1-1 on the unanimous for the week, so we're right around that 500, and we started bad, man. And honestly, I think if you look at our picks as a whole, as we've gotten more information, I mean, I think the way that we have continued getting better in the gun on, just randomly picking these games, and I don't think any of us would ever suggest that people bet 7 NFL sides in a week, but I would say that we've definitely gotten stronger the more information that we've had.
Yep.
Some people get worse because they fall for the bait. You know what I mean? I think Dave's done an awesome job of, Carl, correct me if I'm wrong. We learned a lot from Dave of looking at the line and taking what the line tells you rather than just taking what you're thinking is going to happen, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think hopefully everyone that's listening has learned a lot from Dave with this whole the way the whole season's gone. And the way I look at it, another 5 or 6 weeks of the regular season, we should be right back to 500. The way we've been
without
going.
a doubt.
Well, in about like 3-4 years, the NFL will just keep tacking games on to the end.
Please no.
Just keep adding them on, Dave.
If we would have more shit games like we do this week. If we extend the season, we would have 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
Well, didn't we have shit games in week 17 last year? I mean, we're just pushing out the.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, you're just pushing out the shitty games an extra week.
The last week, I feel like, is the week that you just like blindly start taking dogs because why not? You know what I mean? Like if a team, and we'll get into this with some of these games. We'll start Saturday as one of the games was flexed on Saturday. One of the games featuring bags of shit was flexed. How about it, boys? But I just feel like in week 17, there's motivation for teams to win games. There's very few times that there's motivation for a team to get margin, unless it's a team who hasn't made the playoffs and they're trying to maybe leave the year on a good note. I think that's the better way to look than trying to say somebody's going to get margin because it's a must-win game. We'll get your guys' thoughts on that, but we'll start on Saturday where the Cowboys are taking on the SBEs. That's right, the Eagles. And I don't know if we should keep calling them the SBEs or for 1 week we call them the PCEs, the playoff clinching Eagles, baby. That's what I'm talking about. You love it. I love it. Let's go. Yes, comrade. That's right, comrade. The Eagles song is back. Hey, we can keep calling them the SBs because it just feels right. But they are, in fact, the PCEs, the playoff clinched Eagles, kicking their feet up, and now their whole team has COVID, as the Cowboys are now 7-point favorites after that news comes. In these games, CH did the research so we can tell you any playoff implications. In this one, both of these teams are already in the playoffs. I can't believe the NFC East has 2 representatives in the playoffs. Yeah. I definitely did not see that coming before the year. Only seedings could really be impacted. Cowboys are winning the NFC East, making it 2008 was the last time an NFC East team won back-to-back division titles. So you do the math on how many years straight that's been. It's a dogfight between bags of excrement in the NFC least. The SBEs, they clinched a wild card last week. You can probably tell by my excitement and the fact that I mentioned it about 5,000 times on the episode already. I'll throw it your way, CH, first, because who knows who the Eagles are going to be playing. It's over 15 COVID cases, and there's names like Fletcher Cox and Dallas Goedert and, big time playmakers for the Eagles who are on that list. So, what's your thoughts in this one, CH?
So I've got 2 thoughts. I think first of all, we have to keep calling them the SBEs because by my math, they're 6-1 since we started calling them the SBEs. So you can talk about your fertilizer speeches and stuff like that, but we all know the truth. They started winning when we started calling them shitbags. Right? So to that end, with a 7-point number in this game, I don't care how many COVID cases they have. They can have 40 guys. They could have 11 guys that are going to play both ways. I'm taking the Eagles and I'm taking the points.
Dave, is it that easy? You just take the bags and you take the points and you say, have a terrific Saturday evening?
I think so. I don't want to overthink this thing. I don't know what Dallas is going there to do.
That's what I mean. Both of their teams may be resting their players. You know what I mean?
that's what I mean. Like the Eagles rest is forced with this COVID situation, but there's still guys that are going to play. And I think they're going to try. And Dallas, I don't know yet who's playing. I don't know what they're playing for. I don't know what they're doing other than trying to survive to get to the next week. They can't get the bye. So what are they going to do? Be the 2 seed, 3 seed, 4 seed? It doesn't matter. They win the division. So 7 points seems like a gift. I mean, the look ahead line when everything was square and straight was 3.5. Dallas favored at Philly. Now I get 7. Unless everybody's not playing, I'm taking the points. The total's only 42.
I was just about to ask,
points.
total 42, 42.5. Is that play to the under in this game?
Well, yes, this is. So I think the end of the season games, the last week of the season, go one of 2 ways, right? Just a terrible business decision game on both ends. Let us run the clock, a lot of running the ball, a lot of punts. Nobody get hurt. Everybody go home. We'll see you in a week for the playoffs, or we'll see you next season, or we'll see you for the exit meetings on Tuesday. Or everybody's trying to get contract incentives. It's a wide open game like Detroit and Seattle was last week with the CH call on the over. It's this game is that shit game first. It's an under game. Give me the points.
Now, I keep flipping back and forth on this game. The one thing I do want to mention, though, and I'm not like making a conspiracy theory or anything like that, but it is worth noting with all these players for the Eagles, testing positive for COVID a day after they clinched the playoffs. I did see that players who test positive, they enter health and safety protocols. Once they return, they're exempt from testing for 90 days. So any of these players who have entered these health and safety protocols, they are now, free to go, signed, sealed, delivered. It's either I may have miswritten it. I know it's at least over a month that the players will not be tested after they come out of health and safety protocols. So
just in time to run it all the way to the Super Bowl. Dude.
That's what I would
50 to 1 right now on
the
FanDuel app to win the Super Bowl, and not even listed on the exact matchup as one of the teams to play in the Super Bowl, win or lose. I just scrolled the whole list down and they stopped at like 200 to 1. And the Eagles hadn't even made the list yet.
Bulletin board material, CH. Bullshit. Bulletin board material.
Absolutely. I can't wait until the Patriots come out with their COVID list tomorrow and they have the entire roster on the COVID list. They just say, fuck it, we'll forfeit the game. And then everybody's exempt for the entire playoffs. Like and then Belichick's going to lose 3 or 4 draft picks because of it.
Exactly. That's what, when I saw this whole entire list, I was just like, finally, they're taking a play out of Belichick's book. Bend the rules all you can. Like use the competitive advantages. That's why Belichick is the GOAT coach. And, I think maybe the Lombardi down the pike, maybe be called the Lombardi Dash Belichick Trophy. That's a conversation for when he has his Big Ben send-off, however. So I don't know. I'll go with you guys. Let's make it unanimous. Let's try it because I don't know what to do in this game. If I was going to bet anything, I would probably tease the Cowboys down. I think they do win the game, but you're giving a team at home who's a pretty good home underdog some points. I'll take the points with the SBEs, and we will move to Sunday, the game after the Big Ben hangover, Dave. It's the Ravens taking on the Steelers. Line's around 4 or 5 for show purposes. We'll say that the Ravens are 4-point favorites as they take on the Steelers. I think before we get into this game, Dave, you had a certain request about a new song, and I was even a little kerfuffled over which song you wanted to hear, because I have a side on my board that's just dedicated to like fight songs and music.
Nice.
And it's now completely full because all we do is keep adding songs while CH keeps adding championships.
Yeah,
this was asked to be added to the board to celebrate Big Ben's retirement.
We're from the town with a great football team. To the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hey. Chuck North and all his friends are all on the team. Go out and get them Steelers.
As a Pennsylvania Dutchie, Dave, I am so impartial to polka. I love this thing. Electric, the Steelers song, man.
This is me being 8 years old and hearing it and the Steelers winning Super Bowls and then learning the polka with my grandmother, my nanny.
Great.
This is, and you knew all the words. Everybody knew the words. You didn't know any different. If you've ever been to a wedding in Pennsylvania, you've done the polka, you've seen it done.
Polka, baby.
You have to. You don't even know what you're doing. Sometimes you get up and do it. You just figure it out. So yeah, that one came to mind in all the work and the prep for Big Ben's final home game. I was like thinking about Steeler memories and has anything ever happened like this? And I was like, oh wait, that song. Where's that song? So thank you for finding that and playing that.
I got you. It's a worthy addition into the board. Now, before we get into this Ravens Steelers game, I do have to ask you guys, as I was prepping it up, I was like, why does this sound so familiar? Like, because there's been people who reworked that polka. Have either of you seen Mel Brooks's The Producers? It came out in like 1968. It was a stage show. They had a re-updated version where who was it? It was like Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick were the two main characters. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it.
I've seen it a long time ago. I saw it.
So Will Ferrell's character is this crazy German dude, and I threw this in the board so you guys can compare. Does it not suspiciously sound like Haben Sie gehört? Das Deutsche Band from The Producers. Just listen real quick.
Haben Sie gehört, das Deutsche Band mit der Bang, mit der Boom, mit der Bing Bang, Bing Bang Boom.
Now I was listening to this and I like superimposed the two over each other. So I don't know if the Steelers were inspired by The Producers or not. But The Producers came out in 1968. That song, CH, from 1978. Do you hear any of the similarities that I heard as well?
Honestly, I absolutely do.
And it's just amazing. Come for the picks, stay for the polka music. I mean, this is why we are who we are. Nobody else in the world is going to find the similarities between those two songs. But Newbie goes deep into the well and finds it. Yeah, I completely agree with you.
Dave, haben Sie gehört das Deutsche Band?
That's pretty good. Can you just say that again? Just say that again.
Sie gehört das Deutsche Band mit der Bang Boom. Yeah, baby. Love it. Love it. So no one else in their football segments, Dave, are giving you side-to-side comparisons of polka music. How about that? All right, back to business. We may have lost CH for the episode.
He's back. He's back.
Oh, shit. All right. Believe it or not, we're talking about the Ravens taking on the Steelers. Ravens 4-point favorites. In the interviews with Ben after the game, it seemed like he was pretty good with whatever happens the rest of the year. Now, I don't think that means the Steelers are going to go and mail it in or anything like that. But hearing him talk last night, he seemed very at ease at whatever happens. And I don't know if that's scary for people in the division, if that makes them feel good. Dave, maybe we'll have one more shake of the newbie mush. I'm going to lay the points with the Ravens in this one. I'm going to lay the line of 4. I think the Ravens are absolutely dead. The only reason I'm looking that way is just because I think it was such an emotional expenditure this last week for the Steelers and the big home game. So I'll lay the 4 with the Ravens. I would not bet this game, though. CH, what are you doing in this one, man?
Yeah, so a couple of things. I went back because I keep this notebook, which is fun to look back at and see all the shitty picks I've made over the course of the year because I have them memorialized here in the notebook. But I went back through today because it hit me that I feel like I haven't done.
Did you bring your notebook, but you didn't bring your wallet? Is that really what happened when you left Boston? You brought the notebook of picks and you didn't bring the wallet. I just want to make sure that's clear.
That shows you how important this show is to me.
Fair enough. Fuck it. That's good. I like it. Okay, so go ahead. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
By my calculations, and I've been known to be off a little bit on my calculations, we've talked about the Steelers on 14 different shows this season. Okay. I've picked the Steelers 5 times out of those 14. I have lost all 5 picks.
Oh, nice.
Therefore, to give Ben and my buddy Dave a glimmer of hope in that maybe the Colts will lose to Jacksonville, I'm going to go with Baltimore and pick against Pittsburgh.
Thank you.
To not mush them. We've got 2 unanimous picks out of the gate, and I hope they pull it off.
Well, let's see if Dave's going unanimous. Is he going to try and reverse jinx? The terrible towel is out, Dave. Tell the folks what the play is tonight.
Please.
Well, I guess Sunday early morning. But
Sunday early morning, we're taking the Steelers. I agree with everything that you're saying. And my first thought was, geez, there's no way they're going to be able to match this level of enthusiasm. It was such an emotional thing for so many people. And like, you're right, Ben is good with it. He ain't playing. He's done. Someone asked me on a show yesterday, is he done, or is he going to come back and play for the Washington football team if they need a quarterback and they come call and say, 1 year, it's yours? The Saints may need a quarterback to bridge the gap. Big Ben, you're done in Pittsburgh. Come here 1 year. He ain't playing nowhere else. I think he's done. And I mean, you throw the ball 46 times for 123 yards. Can't even throw the ball down the field. I mean, he's dinking and dunking. It's incredible. So no, I think he's done, but I think they can keep it close and give all of us Steeler fans false hope that, I mean, at least for a quarter or two. And then the worry is when Indianapolis is beating Jacksonville 28-3, everybody in the Ravens in the Steeler game goes, shit, man. Yeah, Colts are killing Jacksonville. What are we playing for? Let's go home. And the game goes dead under, right? Like they're playing competitive and they're watching the scoreboard. They're all on the sideline watching, because if Jacksonville's up at halftime, that game's going to get intense as hell.
True.
Because the Ravens are still alive mathematically. The Steelers need all that help too. It's going to be a good game for a while. And I think I like to take the points in that situation. So give me the Steelers, a little bit of a homer pick. Nighttime in Pittsburgh behind me.
Up.
Yeah,
you gotta ride with Big Ben until the wheels come off.
I think you're right.
And even one more time on the way out there.
They're done with that great football team. We cheer the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's catchy, man. That is catchy. Move on into the late window on Sunday. The Rams will clinch the NFC West with a win. The 49ers can get in the playoffs with a win. Some other things could break their way as well. But the Rams laying 5 points to the San Francisco 49ers. I'll throw it right back your way, Dave. I don't know what to do with this game. I'm leaning with taking the points with the 49ers simply because, Stafford's giving away, picks like it's Omicron. Like it's absurd how quickly he's just throwing them all away. What are you thinking on this one, man?
I believe I heard that Shanahan's like 8-2 or something against the Rams. He owns them.
Really?
And they're covering this game. I think the Niners can win the game. I do. And I said it on Sunday while I was watching the Rams and the Ravens, going, cross the Rams off the list to win the Super Bowl. I think they can go at this point. You're trying to pick a team that can go to Green Bay and win because the number one seed. Who can go? I thought the Rams could, and then I watch him just have one really bad turnover every game. If he has multiple turnovers, they can't win. I don't think they can. They can turn it over once in Green Bay and overcome it, but not twice. And you get the feeling like he's going to do it twice. He's just going to throw bad picks. That's probably what's going to cost them here. They may win the game. It's going to be close. Give me the San Francisco 49ers plus the points.
CH, I think, I was hoping maybe he could make a case for the Rams because I didn't have a strong feeling in this game. I have written down my pick's going to be the 49ers. Are we making it unanimous, my man?
Yeah, Matthew Stafford. It's time for Stafford to start doing Stafford things. It's a Stafford messing up things time of year. He hasn't played in the post. Has he ever played a postseason game?
He did once. I think he had one postseason game, and it was a loss, I believe.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's time for Matthew Stafford to start doing Matthew Stafford things. And I'm going with the 49ers.
Yeah, and the thing for me is the SBEs, they're like still trying to determine who they're going to be playing in the playoffs. If I could choose my opponent, for me, it would be the Rams. Like, it's looking like it's probably going to be TB12 and the Bucks. I don't love that. I think that they have their own issues and everything, but I think for the reasons that you guys were just saying, I think, and I like Matt Stafford. Like, don't get me wrong. I like Matt Stafford as a guy. I think he's a fun player to watch. He up insane numbers, but we'll take the line from B Howe, right? That you have to
show me what you got.
And I just don't know what he got because late hadn't been good. All right, we'll move on to the Patriots taking on the Dolphins. Pats on the road, heading down to Hard Rock Stadium, where it just seems like weird things happen for the Patriots. The Patriots are 7-point favorites in this game. The Patriots can win the division if Buffalo ends up losing. They can clinch. Now, this is what's crazy to me is out of any team, I was looking at all the playoff situations, the Patriots at the end of Sunday could be as high as 1 and as low as 6. I believe that's the biggest range for any team, and that's just insane and shows you the parity that's going on over there in the AFC. That is a tough place to win games. Now, the Patriots could clinch the 1 seed, which even just sounds crazy to say, with Tennessee, Buffalo, and Cincinnati all losing. CH, I'm saying there's a chance. What are you thinking in this game, brother?
You stole my line. I was going to say, so you're saying there's a chance.
We'll have the same mind, my friend.
Yeah, I think, I said last week that the SBEs were going to blow out Washington, and they did blow them out by enough to cover my 3-point spread.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a 50 burger, but I think that this is tuning up for the playoffs. Let's get our kid ready to go into a hostile environment wherever they're going next week, probably Buffalo. I think this is a tune-up against a decent opponent, and I think that McDaniels is going to empty the playbook, and let's see what the hell we got in this kid, and let's see how far we can go. So I'm going to give up the 7. Surprise, surprise, and take the Pats.
CH, I mean, are you feeling okay, CH? CH picking the Patriots? We got to get a temperature check. Our man CH. Dave, what do you think? It's 7-point chalk on the road at Hard Rock. What are you doing in this game, Pats Dolphins?
I hate this game.
That's the theme of the week.
I would not touch this one
on the board, and we hate the board.
I know. My initial thought, is that the Patriots are supposed to run this team out, but they're coming off a 50 burger. He ain't going to show nothing. They can't give him no film. I don't know what to expect other than a decent effort from the Dolphins. I'm going to take the points, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. It's supposed to be a run out. The Patriots are supposed to run the ball, just bludgeon them, just like Tennessee did, until Tua gives them the ball, which Tua's going to throw a pick. You want to prop bet Tua to throw a pick against New England.
Yeah.
You said it. Weird things happen when they need this game. I can't get that intercept or that kickoff return when Gronk should have made that tackle out of my head. Dolphins plus the points.
Well, and the thing for me is, I thought I was going to be the asshole because I'm also taking the points with the Dolphins, and the reason is because
so you're both assholes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. We got you. It's the Pennsylvania man. I mean, look at him. He's got his Steelers jacket on. I got my Eagle stuff on. You already knew that we were assholes before the pick even happened, just by the outfits alone. But the thing is the Patriots have stuff to play for, and it's not this game. You know what I mean? Like the fact of the matter is the Dolphins, they're dead in the water. They had the great run, Patriot Pat coming out for CH to say, and you can text us in the group chat. Don't worry. Say, I fucking told you guys. I'm taking the points too. Weird things happen in Miami. And I think if stuff starts getting dicey, I wouldn't be shocked to see some of the starters come out for the Patriots because they have bigger aspirations than beating the Dolphins in week 18. And that's the reason why I'm taking the points.
And the only other thing I'd add too is if the Patriots get up early, they get up 10-0, 14-0. Miami's packing it in. They got nothing to play for. If Miami's playing for that 7th spot, completely different game. But I think they get down. They're going to be thinking about tea times on Tuesday. They're going to be checking out.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and CH does know this team like the back of his hand. So Dave and I saying, hello from the other side, and saving us from another unanimous one. Last game in the rundown here, and Ian, before we get you some actionable info in one total, one side, and one prop, we got the Chargers taking on the Raiders, and this is the win and end game, boys. This should be a heck of a football game. Sunday night football, it's the Chargers taking on the Raiders. Chargers are the road chalk because Vegas wants everybody and their grandmother betting on the Raiders. You know what I mean? Like they're home and they've been charging or they've been surging, I guess is the better way to say it.
Not charging, surging.
Yeah. I guess that's Chargers, the better way to say it. Now, Before we get into the game, playoff scenario, Colts lose to the Jaguars. Now, for what it's worth, the Colts haven't won in Jacksonville since 2014. So is it that crazy? I don't know. That means
wait, did you say the Colts haven't won in Jacksonville since 2014?
That was from the research department.
I saw that earlier today. I don't remember who it was. Might have been Schefter that sent that out earlier today. Yeah.
They're 14-point favorites.
They're up to like 15 and a half at some points.
Let me hit refresh.
I mean, this
16 in places, 15 and a half pretty much across the board.
Wow. Yeah. So I haven't won there since 2014. Now, I will say Carson Wentz hasn't been playing there, so that could all change. That could all change rather quickly since the Ginger Jesus is down there throwing picks and throwing passes that should be intercepted that end up as his only touchdown pass of the game. He's insane. Now, the thing is if Jacksonville were to beat the Colts, that would mean that the Chargers and Raiders, if they tied the game, would both be in. Now, could you imagine if they get the word? Well, actually, this is going to be on Sunday night, so the game should already be concluded. If that upset happens, if you were the coach, if you were Biasa Masoso or whatever the hell his name is, wouldn't you call up and be like, hey, man, I know we're supposed to be mortal enemies. We're supposed to be rivals, but let's play this game to like a 3-3 tie. How about that collusion? And then they both end up getting in. As far as the game goes, guys, the only way that I would bet this game, I would be the square guy and tease the Raiders up. But for show purposes, I would take the Chargers 2.5. I think the Chargers are just the better team. The Raiders, they continue to be in the headlines and not for the good reasons. I feel like everybody in Las Vegas can't stand this team, yet they still go to the games. They still enjoy it. I'm going to lay the 2.5 with the Chargers for show purposes. I wouldn't bet this game unless I was doing the square teaser and taking the Raiders up to 8.5. Dave, what do you think? I mean, you're close to Las Vegas. It's almost every day they got somebody having a DUI story. I guess the most recent was a rookie who just got in trouble. So, all the fears about the Raiders going to Las Vegas have continued to be realized. Do they shake it all off? Do they get the win here?
I think they do. Actually, I've completely. That was a big win last week in Indy.
It was.
And the culture has changed since Gruden's gone. They got over that hump. And now win 3 games in a row with winning in Indy the way they did. It was just showed me a lot. And yeah, the kid fell asleep in the parking lot at the Cromwell and left the car running. And they tested him, and he was had a little too much to drink.
A little bit.
And that happens, when you go to the casino. At least he was sitting in the parking lot apparently. But anyhow, I think the Raiders could win the game. I'm surprised by the number. Okay. Just like I was surprised by the number when Cleveland was favored at Pittsburgh. I'm surprised that it was at least 3. It opened 3 in a lot of places. The Chargers on top, favored in a must-win game. If these two teams tie, if Pittsburgh wins and these two teams tie to keep the Steelers out, I might go down to Allegiant myself and be looking for somebody. That would be some bullshit that I don't think a lot of people would be too happy with. But, man, that would be crazy. But I would take the points. Give me the Raiders.
There it is. CH, I know you love this team. The MFRs, 2.5 is the line. What are you thinking in this one, my man?
Here are my notes. My notes specifically say no Mo MFRs. Give me the Chargers. I don't want to talk about the Raiders again until next year, but I will say, and I tweeted this earlier in the week, I think, what's his name? Biasaka? I don't even know how to say Bisaccia?
Bisaccia, I think.
Yeah.
He should be the coach of the year. There's not a doubt in my mind. He's not going to win. He's not even going to get votes. But think of the bullshit he's dealt with this season. And his team is coming into the last game of the season and has a shot at the playoffs. He deserves coach of the year. He doesn't even have a job next year.
Hunter Renfrow has been amazing too, by the way. I mean, you want to talk about a guy that don't really maybe get notoriety. Anyone even know who he is? I mean, I have to watch the games now because I'm in the local market. So I actually watch the Raider games on one of the screens. And the guy just gets open. They may get Waller back. They've done all of this without Waller, maybe one of the best tight ends in the NFL. Yeah. I'm telling you, it would be a incredible story. And I think you're actually onto something, CH. The guy should get some consideration for what he's done. He may not even get the interim tag removed and get the position after all said and done.
Yeah, you're probably right. So there it is. That's your final and the year, which brings us, boys. It's time. Actionable info. Beautiful cash considerations, listeners. It's time for one total, one side, and one prop. Oh, the dulcet tones is when you know you're cashing tickets, baby. I mean, doesn't it just feel good when you don't even just hit a pick, you fucking nail a pick?
Yeah.
I told you that Titans were rolling the Dolphins. I knew it with every fiber of my being. I said, play them 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 8. I should have played them up to, what was it? They won by like 20 some points.
27.
He had them as the official show pick, laying 10 points, even though it was a 3.5 point spread. We hit plus 215. That one felt good. That one felt right. But even with that, Dave still led the way. He has been chugging here in one total, one side, one prop. You can hear him talking props each and every day, weekdays on Bostonian versus the Book. Just check wherever you find your podcast. Check out the Twitter handle as well. Check him out, and you get actionable info each and every day with him and Matt Peralt. Now, CH, I believe we hit the trio perfecta parlay. I don't have the numbers in front of me. Do you have the statistics on us hitting our secret parlay yet again?
I do. So this is the fourth time this season that we've hit our secret parlay, which is, you go to Starbucks and they got all this extra shit that's not on the menu. It's a secret menu. Well, we've got our own secret menu here, right? The cash consideration secret menu. So for the fourth time this year, I hit my side. Dave hit his total and Newbie hit his prop. For the fourth time this year, this past week was our biggest payout yet at a plus 1048 for the hit. So if you bet all that combination all season long, you'd be up 19 units on the year. Come on, guys.
That ain't bad. That ain't bad.
All that, plus we got the polka music. I mean, what else could you ask for?
We put 3 of our brains together, and it almost makes a whole brain. Carl's side, Dave's totals, my props, money. Cash them. So, Dave, it looks like you're going to be batting leadoff for us, fresh off of Big Ben's retirement. One total, one side, one prop, one consig. And there's only one Vegas Dave, and that's the real Vegas Dave. What do you got for the folks this week, Dave?
Good mention. I forgot to read. I
thought you'd like that one.
Yeah,
I
nice.
got you.
I like that. So for the side, I've been going back and forth with a couple. Kansas City's going to destroy Denver minus 10, but I'm not going to use that one. I still think the Steelers are going to cover. Not using that one. Since he has flipped to the favorite, they're going to destroy Cleveland. I really want to use that one, but I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use the Houston Texans plus the points against Tennessee. Okay. This is not one that will be on anybody's radar.
No,
not at all.
I just threw up in
my head. You got to look up the number.
Yeah. It's plus 10.5 right now. You can get 11, maybe a couple places, but it's plus the points at home. Okay. Here's why. Tennessee has the 1 seed. All right. And if you've ever stood over a putt of 6 feet when you're really good putter and you're really pucker up tight and go, all I got to do is knock this in. I should make this every time. Sometimes it lips out. I'm not saying they're going to lose. I'm saying they got to go down there and get a win to hold on to this 1 seed. They ain't looking to win by 10, by 20. I mean, they want to win. They want to get it comfortable. But this has backdoor written all over it. This has just win by, it's 27-20, something like that, where, Houston is competitive, but not really in the game to win. That's my side. Those other ones I really like. Cincinnati's definitely going to be Cleveland. That's my real favorite one, but I'm going to give you the Houston one because it's a dog in any game anybody looking at. Total, this one was really tough for me because there's so many games that I think are really like shit games where they're really difficult. But I got one of the competitive games is San Francisco and the Rams, and I'm going under in that game. All right. That's going to be like a playoff game. The only thing that gets us over is multiple turnovers by either quarterback. Lance Jimmy G ain't playing. So I don't think so. As of right now, recording on Tuesday, you guys listening Tuesday night, Wednesday, obviously pay attention. If Jimmy G somehow, gets fixed and plays in the game, maybe that might alter the total a little. But I think they play this really close to the vest. They play both good defensively. I don't know how in the hell San Francisco covered that big number last week against Houston. I think this game stays under the total. I believe 44.5 is probably the best number we could get. So we'll go under the 44.5 there. For the prop, hard to come up with props again on Tuesday when we record it, but I found this one on the DraftKings app. Cooper Kupp and Deebo Samuel over 199.5 combined receiving yards in that game. All right. That's kind of a hedge and kind of in a game where I think the total is going to be under. I'm taking these receivers over only because on the damn prop on there, they don't let you bet under. I would bet under, but all right, the yes is plus 110. So I'm going to go over that because as we talked about today on Bostonian versus the Book, Cooper Kupp has a chance to set the record for NFL receiving yards in a season at 135. I think they're going to try to feed him, but they got to stay within the game script. And Deebo is going to get a lot of opportunity to do stuff in that game. I don't think you have to rely on Cooper Kupp to get it all. I think Deebo is going to get over 100. So I think we're good. So that's my one side is the Houston Texans with maybe a 2-team parlay. Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to throw 2 in there because it's the last game of the season, last week of the season. We're going to go
literally no rules. Like
two sides. We're doing that. That's what we're doing. Cincinnati and Houston Texans, two games, one parlay. We'll call one parlay sides. Total is the San Francisco and the Rams game under the 44.5. The prop is kind of a hedge, and I leave the props to you guys. You guys are much better at the props than I because I don't really do the research on them as much as I probably should. Deebo and Cooper Kupp over 199.5 combined receiving yards. Back to you, sir.
And anytime that we talk about props, you always remind people that you fucking hated them in the book. Like, let me set my totals. Let me set my sides. Let the fucking nerds worry about these props. So the nerds have worried about the props. We got your back, man.
Thank you.
So we got the totals, we got the sides, we got the props. I'll go next. CH will clean up here for us. For my total, I'm going back to the tout side of things. I'm looking at this Broncos and Chiefs game. And I look at this Broncos team total at 16.5. I mean, Denver looks as dead can be. Now, on the season, they're averaging 19 points per game, which is good for the 24th worst in the NFL. And if you look at their last 5 games, they've only scored over 13 points one time. And that was against the Lions when the Lions were coming off of their big Super Bowl when they finally got the monkey off of their back. So, that was the one time that they were able to eclipse 13 points. And that was in the last 5 weeks here. I don't think the Broncos are scoring over 16.5 points in this game. I think they might score 10 if they're lucky. So I'll lay minus 110 on a total to go under 16.5 on the Broncos team total. And I think that's moving. So we'll see if I'm right on Sunday, but I would play it if you're listening now sooner rather than later. That's one that I personally have bet myself. The side for me, now, don't fall out of your chairs, guys. I mean, do the Colts care if they win by 100 or they win by 1? It's win and they're in. And the Colts, they might be 10-6 against the spread, but their margin of victory on the season is only 6.3 points. Now, hurting my pick a little bit is they were road favorites one time this year. They won the game by 31 points. So, maybe they get up for a road game, but I just think they're content with getting out of Jacksonville with their first win since 2014. Give me the Jags plus 16.5. You got to choke down some vomit to play that side, but it's worth it there. I'll take the Jags getting the 16. It's 15. It's you can find it. I'm guessing by game time, it'll probably be around 16.5. So give me the Jags graded at 16. And for my prop, I love this play. Like, this is my favorite play of the week again. The Eagles-Cowboys game got flexed onto Saturday. It's going to be 27 degrees in a game that doesn't mean shit, basically, to either team. There's some seeding, but it's not a win and in game. And you look at all the COVID cases for the Eagles. We don't know who's even going to be playing. I think Dave made the case this is an under game. So rather than play the game under and lay some points to do it, I'm going to be taking the neither in the race to 25 points. I don't think either team gets over 25 points in this game. It's plus 125.
Love it.
I did a little history on this. The last two times that these teams played in Philadelphia late in the year, so you're looking at cold weather. One of them was a 9-degree game that I was at. There was a 17-9 Eagles win, and before that, in 2017, it was a 6-0 Dallas win. When these games don't mean anything, they're divisional games. We don't know who's playing. I don't think either teams get over 25 points. Give me neither in the race to 25 plus 125. The side, we're fading Wentz, Jacksonville. We're taking the 16 points in the total. Ain't no way Denver's scoring 16.5 points. Take the under on Denver's team total. That is my total, side, and my prop. Boom. Felt good, boys, right there. CH, what do you got for the folks? Let's end the year strong.
Yeah, I'm going big again. You know, I tried to go big last week and didn't go very big, but I'm going big this week, and I'm going to hit this one.
I like it.
So get your pens out, get your apps out, get ready to place these bets. Here we go. First of all, I'm going with what I know. I don't care who says what about what happens in Miami. Doesn't matter. Patriots -7. That's enough about that. My total, I was very tempted to go with the 2 total thing again, like I did last week. I should have listened to Dave when he said the Giants game over. I'm listening to you this week. I'm not taking the Giants game over. I am, however, going to take the Bears and Vikings game over. Nobody gives a shit about this game. It's 44.5. It's a pretty decent number, but you know, the second half of these games, nobody wants to get hurt. Nobody wants to tackle. I don't care who's playing. They're going to go over. So Chicago and Minnesota over 44.5. Now my prop. I thought about this one long and hard, and I'm going in the same game prop here. Following Newbie's lead from last week because I think it's friggin' brilliant. Who did you take last week? Tennessee +10, right?
10, yeah, -10.
Alternate. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. That was our biggest prop hit of the year at +215, right?
Yes.
So what did I do? I looked at the Patriots game and says, how do I beat +215? Very simple. I take the Patriots -15 at +220. Bam! Gonna come in with the biggest prop hit of the year in the last week of the year. So, and by the way, I was very tempted at +2,800 to take the Raiders and Chargers in a tie at +2,800.
Don't do that.
Yeah, that would have been fun. So I'm going Patriots -7, Bears, Vikings over 44.5, and Patriots -15 at +220. Hit all 3 of those bets. It's going to pay out at +2,100.
Oh, damn.
Whew. Get it now. Get it now while you can.
There we go. That is 1 total, 1 side, and 1 prop. 18 weeks of me screaming in your motherfucking ear. It's Cousin Cooter, and I'll be back for the playoffs. Don't you forget it. This has been the most rootin', tootin' football segment this year. Coming to a close. That's right. And in the sake of time, Dave, you know what I'm going to do right now?
Right back.
Right, Dave. I can switch with the best of them. It's time for Carl's Corner. When we like hopping into Carl's Corner, why not take a stroll down memory lane with our friends, hand in hand? Well, we're doing it again, and taking us on that journey is your host, Carl Hascall.
I really do have to get you to record my voicemail message or something with that voice and the music playing in the background.
Oh,
that would be a lot of fun.
How good would that be?
So kicking this one around this morning, you know, the whole Ben thing last night is pretty cool. You guys don't know this, but I'm a big softie. I love all the pregame festivities, the mid-game, retirement ceremonies, the after-game pomp and circumstance and shit. Never been a big Ben fan, not because of anything in particular, other than, we played against him in a few championship games. We won those games, but we played against him in a few of those games.
Now he does that, Dave?
Sorry. He's right.
So it got me to thinking. It was pretty cool to see his little send off. It kind of pissed me off to see him out there waving and having 500 reporters and photographers all standing around. Give the guy some space.
Agreed.
Back up. You got zoom lenses on those goddamn things. Zoom in on them. Give him some space. Let the fans see him. But whatever. But it got me to thinking about some of the best send offs I've seen. Because that was pretty cool. For me, I remember. Ortiz losing in the playoffs at home and standing out at the mound, tears streaming down his eyes as he knew he was done. And I was thinking, watching him just come back one more season, man, just one more year would be amazing. But I've been lucky enough to see some great ones. I think, honestly, probably the best one ever is one that none of us were around to see, but can you beat Ted Williams hitting a home run in his last at bat? No. I mean, come on, there's nothing like that. Right. But for me, a couple really stick out. Again, I was never really a big Kobe fan. Played for the Lakers. You just a New England guy. You automatically hate the Lakers, regardless of who the players are. But Kobe's last game was something special.
Amazing.
Right? What did he put up? 63 or something in that game? I can't even remember how many
81.
points. 81.
Not his final game. I think it was 60 against the Utah. That was going to be my farewell for Kobe.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved Kobe.
Yeah. But I think the baseball does it the best. I mean, you get to the bottom of the ninth inning and the guy's out in the field and you can send any scrub out to go take whoever's place, right? I think the baseball players do it the best. But for me, the one that I really remember the most is 1983 when Carl Yastrzemski retired. I was 13. And it was really the first retirement real ceremony that I could remember happening. They brought him out. He was 43, I think, at the time. They gave him a rocking chair as one of the gifts. So he's sitting out at second base, sitting in the rocking chair. And then at the end of his ceremony, he did a lap around the field and he slapped, kind of like Ben was doing last night, slapping five with everybody down in the front row, which was pretty cool. But, I know we've all seen our share. Newbie, I'll go to you first. Have any of these things ever rung with you? I mean, some of them are just amazing. So I'm wondering what you've seen.
No, I mean, even thinking about it, I'm getting a little bit emotional because my take was going to be, I mean, you guys had Jordan growing up. Like, you guys had, like, great athletes growing up. For me, man, I wouldn't even like basketball if it weren't for Kobe Bean Bryant. I was a guy who was from our area as well, so I always rooted for him. He always, gave credit to where he came from. And in his last game, and really his whole entire farewell tour, because, he announced before the year, this is it. So he gave fans who appreciated what he brought to the game of basketball a chance to get out and get to see him. And one of the biggest regrets I have as a sports fan is not getting to the game that he played in Philadelphia. I mean, the guy, a five-time NBA champion over his 20 years with one team. I mean, believe it or not, people used to stay with one team. 18-time All-Star, two-time Finals MVP, Kobe Bean Bryant. There can only be one, and a one-time regular season MVP as well. And the thing was, is if you remember that game, he had 38 points in the second half, and the fourth quarter, 23 of those were dropped into the bucket, man. I mean, this was one of the all-time performances in his final game. They were actually trailing with a little bit over like 3 minutes left in the game, 94-84. 15 straight points Kobe drops in the bucket for a 101-96 win. I will never forget it. I loved Kobe growing up. Absolutely electric. He and Dwayne Wade, probably my two favorite basketball players that didn't play for my city. And, like I said, one of my biggest regrets is not seeing Kobe on that farewell tour. It was all amazing. But when you asked the send-off, right to my mind came Kobe Bean Bryant. Rest in peace. Love that guy, man. Love me some Kobe. What are you thinking in this one, Dave?
So it was a great question in the chat, like in when you said it, and I was like, oh yeah, we're definitely doing this because there's so many for different people. Like everybody has their own thing, and like we're all from where we're from, and you may have a hero and things like that, and it's cool that you're in Philly, but your guy's a Laker, and CH went back to a Boston guy. So I thought of two immediate that came to my mind. One was the first one that I remember as a kid. On September, I went back and looked here. It's September 6, 1982. My dad took us to the Pittsburgh Pirate game, and they retired Willie Stargell's number. Pops, Willie Stargell, who led the 1979 Pirates to the World Series, and everybody imitated his batting stance. And he used to get in and bounce his hands and then swing it 3 times and put his arms up, lefty. And it was the first time that I saw my dad get choked up about anything sports-wise, because that was the guy he watched growing up and do his thing over such a long period of time. And I remember I was holding his hand. I was watching the ceremony, and I could feel my dad getting kind of choked up with emotion. And I was like, geez, this really means a lot to him. Like, this is pretty cool. Like, for me, it was just Pop Stargell, like, they're retiring his number. Nobody can wear 8. Why can't anybody wear 8? Like, that was the thing I thought of, but that was the first one. The second one was another guy that I got to watch for a long time growing up and playing hockey, was when Mario Lemieux went out. I mean, Mario Lemieux overcame so much and meant so much to the city. And when he was done, it was just one of those, like, damn, man, like, he got here in 1984, 85 was the first year. And I was 14. He was 18. He was only 4 years older than me. Like, I watched his whole career. He fought cancer, came back, all the stuff. So that was a big one. And then the one that I got to share with my kids was Derek Jeter. And watching Jeter's last night and how he went out with an opposite field base hit walk-off to win the game, where, you know, I joke all the time that my wife, Jessica, everybody got a pass, right? Well, the pass for her was always Jeter. And I was like, well, hell, I'll take Jeter too in my pass. When we used to sit and watch the games, she was always a big Yankee fan. So I got to really appreciate Jeter. We watched all the games, and then watching him walk off like that with class, end his career. I was moved to that emotion. Like, man, Derek Jeter ain't going to play baseball anymore. And my kids were like, Daddy, are you okay? And I was like, this guy works so hard and he's done. Like, he's done. I'm telling you guys, you play sports as long as you can for as much as you can, because when you're done, there ain't nothing like that that's going to replace it. So those were my 3 that came to mind. And it was a great question. Hopefully, listeners, if you have any, you know, email the show with your thoughts and questions and things like that. Tweet at us, you know, at SportsBK Consig for me, at Newbie Talks, and at Carl Hascall. The show is at Cash Consig Show. But I thought it was a really good question, and awesome. I love Carl's Corner. Yeah, it was just, it reminded people of so many things. It's good stuff.
Great job, CH.
Yeah.
So that about does it. That's Carl's Corner. Man, it's getting awfully dusty in here after that one. Get your tissues out. Not those tissues, you sick fucks. Back to you, Dave.
I didn't see that one coming either. That was pretty good.
Dave, did you notice that Cousin Cooter kind of snuck into the beginning of that outro?
He's always in there. Dude, I'm telling you, I'm gonna end up like what's his name? Who the fuck? Jim Carrey. I'm gonna be fucking schizophrenic by the time I'm 30 because I got all these fucking voices.
Voices in your head. They come out. They do. They do. Monkey Jizz Guy.
They're all in there.
Cousin Cooter.
It's fucking sick in there.
Nothing wrong with Miller Lite, man. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. Cooking
that's
thing.
Just me. The Miller Lite guy is just me.
Before we get to take a minute, I want to mention the East Coast Sports Investors. That's our friend Jeff Dawson, JD, we call him. If you've ever wondered, with 30 plus years of sports wagering experience, along with the #1 ranked sports investors in the world, page looks like, according to Google, just go to www.eastcoastsportsinvestors.com. He says it's your sports leaders delivered to you via text and email. You know, what better time to meet the ECSI family than now? We got NHL we got NFL playoffs coming up. Golf season last year, he hit like 5 or 6 outright golf winners. So does the work there. And then obviously college basketball is really where, you know, Jeff has just separated himself from a lot of the competition. He's really doing the work there. And again, college basketball, the waters are beyond hard to navigate right now. So he doesn't just give you plays when there's nothing. He'll send you a text that says, hey, there's no plays tonight. So legitimate guy doing legitimate things, and it's a legitimate service. If that's your thing, I would highly recommend you try him out, give him a shot. If you have any questions, he says, ask the real Vegas Dave, not that guy, not with the whale plays. He buried everybody these past 2 weeks, that Vegas Dave guy. He said, ask me, Mr. Sharapan. No Iron Team, just win and profit. And then you can follow Jeff, too, on the Twitter at ECSI Sports Invest. And he also does the Breakfast Bankroll, which you guys have been on. And I actually did it this morning. And hopefully he's going to try to institute that a little bit more with Colt and Mags, the boys in Chicago, talking the line, talking to them about doing some other collaborations and things like that. So there you have it. All right. Last segment is the Take a Minute segment. If people are listening to it from all over the world, Turkey popped up this week. Somebody in Turkey found the show. Thank you. I don't speak any Turkish. I don't know one even expression to even say right now.
Lights, though.
Yeah, not even going to try.
Good candy. It's a good candy right there.
It's I figure you might have a Turkish dish or something that we could get.
I'll figure something out.
The way you're cooking and showing everybody on the Twitter, my God,
bro, the smoker. Oh my God! Like I'm
your life.
Smitten. Oh, it changed. It absolutely changed my life. I mean, go to my Twitter at Newbie Talks. Just look at the picture. I had this dude who makes artwork. It's called Philly word art, and he literally he makes like these pictures. I should go grab one so we can show the YouTube viewers. I have one of Brian Dawkins of all of his speeches and his stats. Okay. He uses words and he makes them into these beautiful portraits. And he messaged me and he was like, I will trade you whatever portrait you want if you give me a tray of those smoked wings. So I have literally people contracting me to give them food. I'm moving on up to the top, baby, like the Jeff.
How about that shit?
There we go.
We'll move on up right now to Take a Minute. You can start us off if you're ready to go. Clear your throat. All right. Your Take a Minute, sir. Your Take a Minute segment, sir, starts in 3, 2, 1.
All right. So I mean, with the Eagles now in the playoffs, I feel like I have to give an open apology to Howie Roseman. I mean, you guys know that I've been Howie Roseman's largest detractor. I still don't really like the guy. CH is gonna die. I mean, he is incredulous right now. But the thing is how can I constantly hate on a guy who has had the Eagles in the playoffs 4 out of the last 5 years? Now, during that stretch, only the Chiefs have been better, going 5 for 5 during that stretch. And, you know, I knock him for how he drafts players and, you know, all the busts that he's had. And he's had many, but in the last year, he drafted the one guy who I wanted. I mean, I came on here and sang his praises after they took Devonta Smith. And after that, they take Landon Dickerson, who's been one of the biggest parts in the emergence of the Eagles run game. And the crazy thing is, to me, is the Eagles making the playoffs. They now have the highest dead cap hit in any playoff team in NFL history. They have $15 million in dead cap, and in a rebuilding year, they somehow found a way into the playoffs, and their highest paid player doesn't even play for their team. Carson Wentz is the highest paid player on the Eagles, and the dude doesn't play for the Birds. I got to give credit to the guy. In a rebuild year, they end up picking Sirianni, who, for all the jokes, the players love him. I've never seen the players repeating, you know, rock, papers, and scissors. You know, I've never heard them repeating the messages that a head coach has put out as much as I had with Sirianni. They love this guy. They're buying what he's selling. Maybe it'll be a flash in the pan. You know, history will dictate that. But Howie Roseman, I'm sorry, man. You're as much of a part of the victory as the quarterback that you selected and ran Wentz out of town. Wow is right. I'm sorry, Howie Roseman. That is my take a minute, Dave.
Very nice. He's at Newbie Talks on the Twitter. That's good. Everybody can say sorry. You know, admit, you know, when you didn't see something and something happens. That's good. I like that. All right. CH at Carl Hascall, Hascall. We did not mention Tom Brady today until just now.
I had to do it. Come on. You guys always throw me the curveballs now. I was so used to doing it every week, and now I got to scroll through the board and find the cha-ching, and then I got people tweeting at me. It was too long on the cha-ching.
That's what I'm just saying. All right. So we didn't mention Tom Brady, but we're going to mention Carl Hascall. And you take a minute segment, sir, as the coordinating producer, social media manager, email guy. Again, cashconsidshow@gmail.com. Give Carl something to do. Wish him Happy New Year on the thing. I believe he did that this week on the rundown greeting. I saw that. Just want you to know I'm reading those. I keep forgetting all my notes. Well, I got to mention that. But your Take a Minute segment, sir, from South Carolina starts in 3, 2, 1.
So first, real quick, I don't know if you heard the Alexa alert just go off in the background. I don't know if that made it to the mic, but the National Weather Service has issued a winter weather advisory for my hometown back up in New Hampshire. So it's fucking perfect that the timing on that. But my real take a minute is something that's been bothering me for about a month or so, and we've addressed it a little bit. I may have addressed it in the past, but I need to address it again. A few weeks back, somebody gave us some shit about not being prepared to do this show. And I'm sitting here tonight looking at these 2 screens that I've got going for this show because I brought them down from New Hampshire. I brought my work laptop. I brought my personal laptop so that I could do this show. I brought this camera so that I could do the show. I brought the headphones. I brought the microphone. Yes. And tonight I've got 2 spreadsheets open on my computer. I've got my regular NFL one that I do for all my picks that I use. And I've also got the one for the show where I keep track of all the picks we've done for the show. Hold on. You think I'm not prepared? Then I look over here at this other screen and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 internet windows open. Oh, first of all, I've got the list with the rundown of all the stuff we're going to go over on the show tonight. Then I've got the picks update that I sent out to the boys that says, how we're doing on the season. Then we get into the good stuff. I've got my parlay calculator because I need to know what my parlay is going to pay out on my toss-up pick this week because it's going to be big. And then, of course, we've got the wager talk lines up. I've got the NFL standings up because it's important for us to know who's going to be playing who and all that. Absolutely. I've got all the playoff scenarios open so that when we start talking about how Pittsburgh's going to get in and how the Raiders are going to get in, I got that up here. And then most importantly, the last 2, I've got my Coach of the Year award odds up here with Rich Biasaka, however you say that, a plus 5,000 he's available on DraftKings. But most importantly is the ability to go on the fly and be ready on the show in case things come up. So in case you were wondering, John Candy's character's name on Home Alone was Gus Polinski, the Polka King. Polka, polka, polka. And of course, the name of the band was the Kenosha Kickers. So don't ever tell us that we're not prepared for this show again. If I can tell you Gus Polinski and the Kenosha Kickers, we're fucking prepared for this show. That's my minute.
Well done.
We're from the town with the great football team.
We're from the town with that great football team. We cheer the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Love it.
Gus. That was for Gus right there. Gus Polinski. I love it. Excellent work, CH. And I'm glad that you now have brought all this stuff and somehow the wallet did not make it in the initial drive down to South Carolina. You brought all these things, but you have the wallet now and enjoying that Southern cooking. So that's good. And it's nice to not be at home when you get the winter weather watch. It's really that makes you go, yeah, it was worth it coming down here for whatever that's worth. All right, boys, my Take a Minute segment starts right now. 2 things. 1, we saw a lot of bowl games, a lot of fun, a lot of questions about people playing in bowl games. Every kid is different. Every kid has to make a decision. And, we got SoCal, putting out a good tweet. Tubby Smith said he called home and wasn't getting treated right. And, should he come home? His dad said, you can't come home. Your bed's taken. You can go stay there or go to the Army. Things are different now. And the kids have to make decisions. I coach kids and I tell them all the time, if you ain't happy on this team, leave. You're the paying customer. That's different. They're paying dues and they're paying, for an opportunity to play higher in college. Once they get to college, they got a limited amount of time to play. And very few actually get the opportunity to play professionally, get drafted and have that opportunity. I don't know how much I would risk. I was sick to my stomach when I saw Matt Corral twist his knee and get hurt. I felt bad, but I couldn't knock his decision to play. He wanted to play. I know if it was me and I was in the Rose Bowl, I'm playing. I don't care where I'm getting drafted. I'm playing in that Rose Bowl for me, for my memory, my teammates. I want to play. So You can't knock anybody for their decisions. So just think about that before you go out and say this. He shouldn't do this. He should do this. This guy's a quitter. This guy's, whatever. Enough of that. Let the kids decide on their own. The coaches can leave at the drop of a dime. I mean, we saw 2 coaches leave. Lincoln Riley left in the middle of the night after losing in Oklahoma, and Brian Kelly left and got a Southern draw 2 days later with his team still having an opportunity to maybe play in a playoff. Please, there's no loyalty. I mean, you're loyal to yourself, your family, and your friends, but you got to make a decision there. 2, last thing, speaking about kids, winter break is great for kids, parents, school, all those teachers. You all have earned it and deserved it. But 2.5 weeks, and then you're going to tell people that they got to go back like no warning. You've been hanging out, watching movies, staying up all night, having sleepovers and all this shit. And then you're going to do it midweek. Like midweek, you're going to make parents like tonight. I'm going to try to tell my kids, you've been screwing around, having fun all this time, and you better go to bed because you got to get up in the morning. It's going to be a war zone up here in the Hamptons tomorrow morning between hair ties, who's getting ready, who's driving who to school, who's packing whose lunch. I feel bad for all you parents, man. Nobody knows shit. That is the show. Enjoy your New Year's. Again, last time I'm saying it, Happy New Year to all the people that are listening, and good luck getting your kids off to school whenever you get to this show. For the boys, Dan Alexander, again, we call him Newbie at Newbie Talks, Carl Hascall at Carl Hascall on the Twitter, and myself, Dave Sharapan, at SportsBK Consig on the Twitter. This is the show. We'll talk to you guys next week.
Mit der Bang, mit der Boom, mit der Bing Bang, Bing Bang Boom. Russian folk songs, oh fresh, ooh la la.